Okay. Kanso yagambira witness azaha exhibit number mushanju. I don't know what it is. Aha page 16 yamugambira ngu information forensic capability. Ngu report eje neyoreka ngu ekakorwa hagati ya omwaka 2018 2018 hamwe ne 2023 ekikumanyisa ngu ekakorwa batakakozire aha report ye eyaretire omu court yamugira ngu kandi obu yagira ngu egi report eje yamugambira kuzaho neyoreka ngu ekakorwa yaheza kukora report ejo yamugira ngu tikikiri then yambuuza ngu laboratory yamugira ngu laboratory bakoze kuchebera obunanka bw'embundu nechebera ebyokurya narushi what is poison obutwa obubakuba buri omu byokurya then ekindi nechebera ebyokurya actually that is all na postmortem. What is postmortem? No kuchebera abafu okay kuchebera emitumbi y'abafiiri yamugira ngu gunshot residue tibakucheberamu mu laboratory ejo yagira ngu kishikire terimu mu report ngu tekworeka report tekworeka ngu gunshot residue nibakichebera mu laboratory ejo then yamugira what is validation what is validation yamugira ngu mu report tina kikworeka ngu bakatunga ku bakatunga obuhamya ngu bashemire kuchebera embundu omunanka omu laboratory ejo yamugira ngu tishikire ngu ejo report ngu nebindi ngu kandi hariho na report eyindi eyi bakozese konka tiyagireta omu court tine report eyi yareta omu court ekworeka ngu bakakozesa bakachebera embundu omunanka omu laboratory ejo. That is in short.
Gunshot residue. So, you can feel that gunshot residues are particles that come out of a gun once it's fired.
Agree.
So, if I can just show you that. It's a bullet, right? It's a round of ammunition.
It's a bullet, okay.
Gunshot residue contain material from the primer.
Right.
It contains some of the metals from the bullet casing.
Well, I'm not a ballistics expert, but I don't know what the composition of the bullet is.
Contain part of the propeller.
Yes.
Be sure that it will contain the primer mixture
Yes.
and the propeller.
That one I'm sure.
And those two places produce different. Sorry, for the record, I'd asked you if gunshot residue I described gunshot residue to you, and I told you that it contains particles from the primer and the substances in the propellant.
The powder.
The powder in the propellant.
Powder.
Aha. Now, so I would be right to suggest that there are two main types of gunshot residue, right?
You're right.
One is inorganic gunshot residue.
True.
Inorganic.
Right.
The other is organic.
You're right.
The inorganic is the one we get from the primer mixture. The mixture is in the primer, right?
Yes, that's what I've read in literature.
Is that yes or no?
Yes.
And inorganic gunshot residue, which consists of three main elements, right? Lead, barium, and antimony.
You're right.
Antimony, which is spelled A-N-T-I-M-O-N-Y.
No, what is it?
So when lead, barium, and antimony are found in a particular shape in a particle, it is characteristic of gunshot residue, right?
No. They could be from environment.
I beg your pardon?
Lead is found in environment.
When lead, barium, and antimony are found together in a particular shape, it is consistent with gunshot residue, right?
That is what they found in under scanning electron microscope. That's right.
So the answer is right.
You're right.
And you'll agree with me that this has been a traditional method in which gunshot residue analysis is tested for.
It is a traditional method.
So the answer is yes.
Yes.
So the inorganic method is the traditional method.
Yes, a test for lead, barium, and antimony. My lord, if the witness could be given Defense Exhibit 6, the Crime Scene Procedure Manual. Okay. This document was drafted by the Director of Forensic Services, sent in by Mr. Mubiru.
Okay.
You can confirm you're a head of department in that directorate?
I can confirm
Yes.
that.
Are you a head of department in that directorate?
No.
Are you a senior person in that directorate?
Yes.
And what's your description?
As in what?
What
Come
are you
clear.
in the department?
I'm a deputy head of department.
Deputy head of department.
Yes.
I want you to go to page 122.
Hundred and 22, there I am.
Paragraph 3.7.19.8.
Paragraph 3.7.19.8.
It reads, can you read it?
PSR collection kits should contain materials, e.g., carbon-coated adhesive stabs, or adhesive-coated discs required to perform scanning electron microscope in brackets capitals SEM
So,
residue tests.
so GSR collection kits
Hmm.
should contain materials required to perform the scanning electron microscopy residue test.
That's here.
That's the recommendation of the Directorate of Forensic Services to the police, right?
This is a recommendation to the field officers. Yes.
And it's saying that they should be able to come back with stuff where they can look into a scanning electron microscopy, right?
Yes.
I want you to go to the disclaimer
Where is that?
at Roman page 2, at the very beginning of the document.
Disclaimer.
I want you to read the second paragraph and the first sentence.
Come again.
The second paragraph and the first sentence of the disclaimer.
The second paragraph and the first sentence. Which one did I read first?
The second paragraph, the first sentence of the second paragraph.
This document is a best practice guide for first responders and forensic practitioners.
Stop there. This document is a best practice guide for first responders and forensic practitioners.
Here.
So I would be correct to say that according to this document, the best practice to test for gunshot residue is a test for lead, barium, and antimony.
And on right.
That's what, according to this document.
This document says, as you read to me before,
Yeah.
it says that practitioners should carry along tabs and stuff that can be used for a scanning electron microscope.
Yes, because
Yes.
it's a best practice.
Best practice as in how?
This document is a best practice guide, right?
Is it written there? I missed it. At 120 something that I read. Because it's here,
The
3.7.19.
recommended method of testing
Mm-hmm.
in 3.17.9.8.
Should I read it to quote?
Answer my question. Is the recommended method of testing scanning electron microscopy?
What you are saying is not here.
Is scanning electron microscopy there?
It's here.
Is your liquid chromatograph method there?
It's not here.
So the best practice guide is telling police that when they collect gunshot residue, it must be able to be tested in a scanning electron microscope, right?
That's your wording. You have coined it that way.
Answer my question.
That's not it.
It's saying don't use scanning electron microscope.
That's not what it says.
It's saying use liquid chromatography.
That's not what it says.
So, is it not saying?
It says, I can read to quote. 3
My
points.
question is this.
Yes.
The best practice for testing gunshot residue.
Let him first read that.
Okay, read that one.
3.7, that's page 122. 3.7.19.8. ESR collection kits should contain materials, e.g., example, carbon-coated adhesive stabs or adhesive-coated discs required to perform scanning electron microscopy residue tests.
The test which is recommended to be performed, the scanning electron microscopy test,
It should contain.
should contain material that can test scanning electron
It
microscopy.
should contain, because this is related to something else. It is
Wow.
connected to test kits, field kits. That's why they're mentioning it here.
And the kits they shouldn't use are swabs, right?
The kits we should, the swab is not a kit.
The kits they shouldn't use are the ones containing swabs, right?
Come clear?
Okay, look at page 122,
There I am.
paragraph 3.7.19.9.
Yes.
Read.
Do not use DSR kits that have swabs or color tests.
Now, let's go back to 3.7.19.8.
There I am.
The advice here
Mhm.
is you must use carbon-coated adhesive stabs
Mhm.
required to perform scanning electron microscopy, right?
That's compatibility, yes?
And you can confirm you did not receive a carbon-coated adhesive stab.
We didn't.
And you can confirm that best practice, according to this, is carbon-coated adhesive stabs required to perform scanning electron microscopy.
That's not true.
According to this,
That's not true.
did you agree with this document?
Which document?
The Police Directorate of Forensic Services Crime Scene Procedure Manual.
I agree with it.
Thank you. Now, you'll also agree with me
Let's see.
that best practice in a test for gunshot residue is a test for lead, barium, and antimony.
Counsel, you already answered that yourself. You said it was tradition.
Answer my question.
It's not.
It's the best practice.
It's not.
But it's the only method mentioned in that report, right?
In which reports?
In the crime scene procedure manual.
And yes, it's mentioned here on the page you opened.
Now, let's agree that the test you used cannot check for lead, barium, and antimony.
It cannot unless it's more derivatized. Yes.
And you're aware that most primers contain lead, barium, and antimony.
That's not true.
What do they contain?
Lead is poisonous, has been overridden. No longer contains lead.
Speak on the microphone.
Lead is poisonous, it has been taken out of gun
This is
primers.
your evidence under oath
That's,
that the majority of bullets on earth today do not contain lead.
I don't know.
So I am putting it to you that most primers contain lead, barium, and antimony. Is it your evidence that that is untrue?
I don't know.
In fact, are you aware that Uganda produces bullets?
I have been told it's happening in Nakasongola.
Yes, the government which you work for. Are you aware that they produce 9 times 19 millimeter bullets that were used in this case?
I don't know.
Do you know the licensing authority for bullets in Uganda?
I don't know.
Do you know an organization called the police?
I know the police.
Do you agree with me that for private firearms, the police is the organization in charge?
Yes, that is true.
And I want to suggest to you that the weapons, the 9 times 19 millimeter bullets imported into Uganda, without exception, contain lead, barium, and antimony. Can you doubt this?
I don't know.
It was your evidence that lead is no longer used in the manufacture of bullets.
It has reduced.
Let's get it clear. Is lead used in the manufacture of bullets?
Lead has been used in
Answer
manufacture.
yes or no?
Yes. And lead to who?
I'm just going to be brief. Kubanga ebintu ebiba byo nibagambaho nibagamba aha masasi okugakorwa okugakushohora okugakozesebwamu ekinakubaasa kugambira ngu yagira ngu omu Uganda abantu abatari basirikare abatari ba polisi abaine embundu polisi ya Uganda niyo biineho responsibility authority, what is that? Niyo biineho authority obushobozi, yes, niyo biineho obushobozi kuba nereeba okubakozesa embundu ezo. Ibindi others are technical, I can't. wrap off there. Let's resume at 2:30.